It was a beautiful day. The sun was grinning through a tiny hole in the atmosphere. The sky was blue. The trees were still there. My people had settled in an almost fog-like stupor, seemingly brought on by a kind, benevolent leader who appeared to have our best interests at heart. After decades of one embarrassing disappointment after another, it seemed that whatever happy little fairy tale we imagined became a reality. Princesses kissed frogs. Frogs kissed princes. Princes kissed princes and sometimes even got married to other princes. And nobody cared. To my people, it all seemed natural, like the tide was turning and the good guys and the good girls had finally won. The Trumpocalypse took us all by surprise. It happened over the course of hours, excruciating, baffling, nail-biting hours, completely disrupting our tiptoe through the tulips. Most of us were astounded, smacking our heads against our computers and cell phones, gnashing our teeth and swearing uncontrollably, but to no avail. Like some horrid nightmare where we run in slow motion while the monster gets closer, the Trumpocalypse was upon us, and our happy little world would never be the same. The Trumposaurus Rex rose out of the newly drained swamp, dripping the ooze and bile, and his well-armed zombie hordes rushed out to greet him. Barack! They screamed. Barack! New York fell first as he kicked over buildings and trampled on civilian rights and lives. Whole segments of our people were crushed under his huge, careless feet while his tiny little hands dangled and pointed. Under his terrifying orange mane, multicolored cities of dreams, which had taken decades to build on the corpses of our martyred heroes, were ripped asunder and swallowed whole. He waved his tiny hands and roared, mocking tasty cripples and helpless humans, grabbing at women and children, popping them to his massive jowls like crunchy Cheetos, as whole segments of my people were plunged into terror and madness. Humanity seemed doomed, spiraling into a frenzy of hatred and horror while the rest of the world looked on, aghast at the carnage. And just when all seemed lost, a tiny voice said, Not my president.
Not my president.
Not my president.
Like Horton, craning his giant elephant ears to hear a who, a tiny voice said,
Not my president. Not my president.
Then another.
Not my president. Not my
Not my
president.
Then another.
Not my president. Barack.
The Trumposaurus Rex roared and gnashed his teeth. Barack, he screamed. Barack! Trying to frighten the gathering crowds. But one city after another pulled survivors from the bloody rubble and shouted,
Not my president.
Soon empowered armies of my people gathered and marched like the heroes of the olden days. Mythical days of Selma and Memphis chanting,
Not my president. Not my president.
Judges and park rangers exchanged uniforms and monster fighting tips. Celebrities and ad executives made commercials and movies about righteousness and hope again. Meryl Streep became less overrated. With some new... and Wonder Woman was seen flying over the Capitol with some new funny pussy hat on. He kept trying. The T-Rex was once so huge and terrifying, strutted and squawked and pecked at the dust. But now he seemed more like an angry chicken than a dinosaur. Puffing his chest feathers out, pursing his beak, trying to look scary, tweeting over and over again. Barack! 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 But you could hardly hear him anymore of the chanting.
Not
My president. Not my president.
Which grew louder and louder by the minute. And finally, Colonel Sanders showed up with a BFC, that'd be the Federal Bureau of Chickens, carted him away. It said they dumped him in Russia, where they made a statue out of him and placed him in front of a very special hotel. And to this day, dogs and hookers lift their legs in his honor. And the sun came out and grinned through a tiny hole in the ozone again. And the sky was blue and the trees were still there. And my people cheered.
Not my president.
Actually, you're supposed to cheer now.
Yay!
And all was left with the world again. And there were bathroom parties for everyone throughout the land. Thanks for your help. Thanks for your help.